And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bigfoot Odyssey's Researchers Reports. I'm your host, Kerry. With me, as always, producer and co-host of the report, Miss Daniela Iolo. How are you, dear?
I'm doing good, thank you. Looking forward to the draw.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of stuff going on here tonight. Giving away about 9 prizes. Going to be doing that toward the middle of the show. We'll do it. And we're announcing everyone that's going to be going on the next 168 in November. And we'll do that toward the end of the show. But got a pretty good show tonight, I think. Our guests for this evening, they are the SheSquatchers, Jen Cruz and Jenna Grover. Welcome, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, absolutely. Now, you guys do your show. If you're not subscribed to SheSquatchers on YouTube, go and do that after this. Don't do it right now. Go after this. But you guys upload a show every Wednesday, right? 9 o'clock?
Yes. We do. Yes.
Central Time.
But you guys do it the smart way and record it and then edit out all the mistakes.
Don't edit.
Not that you make a lot of mistakes, but we do.
We don't know how to edit.
We work without a net here.
We do too. We don't know how to edit anything. So we actually just are live on the radio network, and then I just upload the video of it right after the show.
Well, when it comes to editing, and before we get into that, welcome Nature Spirit Soul Hiker to the Bigfoot Odyssey family. We are going to be giving away. These came in. I just want to say thank you to Jimmy Barr for hooking us up with these. These are the 168-hour bracelets. We're going to give those away to members. Oh, and look what the Blue Line Bigfoot guy sent me.
Nice.
The LB, what does it say? It says Late Show and the SHUDDER, which I haven't done a video in since Halloween.
So are we do we get to be in this little contest? Like, do we get to get any prizes?
No, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I will send you guys a 168 wristband if you'd like.
Well, okay, but I'm not pushing for it. I was just giving you heck.
Yeah, this we did it for the whole month of April. People really stepped up, especially at the end. It was like an onslaught in this last week, and really appreciate everyone that put in on that. Talking about editing, now it wasn't easy for me, and it's still not. I'm still very amateur at it. We shot our first episode of Bigfoot Odyssey in September of 2017. And we put it out in March of 2018. It took me 6 months just to figure out how to put it together. I knew how I wanted to shoot it, and we shot it that way, but putting it all, learning the tools and how it all worked took 6 months. And that was watching. It probably wouldn't have taken that long if I hadn't lollygagged, but I did. That's when our first one came out, was 6 months after it was shot. So don't feel bad about the whole editing thing. It's not easy.
If we have questions, we will come to you because we're not spending 6 months. Sorry.
As long as look, if you're using Final Cut Pro 10, which I recommend to anyone, I can help you on that.
Ooh, what is it?
Final Cut Pro 10.
Ooh,
it's about $400 to upload.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and they're constantly changing it. So, but hey, all right. Well, let's get into some stuff. What you guys got going on right now? Anything interesting, Jen?
Well, we just got back from the Nebraska Bigfoot conference. Tammy and I were there. So that was our first conference since the whole COVID started. So we were pretty excited about that, to get back out there and see the people and have those family reunions of Bigfooters. We love that. So that's been fun. And we've got a bunch of events scheduled coming up. And then Tammy's coming back to Minnesota towards the end of May. So we're going to do some expeditions while she's back. So we can't wait for that. And then we've scheduled 10 days out in Virginia to go Bigfooting out there in June. Awesome. So we're excited for that. Something's happening tomorrow, but I can't tell you. We have somebody super cool coming to visit us tomorrow, and so we'll be on their Facebook Lives tomorrow. Oh gosh, can we say?
I don't think so. Weren't we supposed to keep it quiet until, well, I don't know. It's up to you, Jen.
Oh dear. Who?
Okay. Russell Acorn's coming to see us tomorrow. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah,
No.
Jen, that works. You did it, not me.
Probably about half of the Bigfoot community is probably going to see this. So.
Oh no! Well, I don't think they can get here that quick.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well,
they'll never find us.
Yeah, they'll never know.
That's the way we feel about the 168. That's what we weren't really worried about giving out the date on this next one. That's coming in November. And again, if you're just showing up, we're going to be announcing who's going on that trip at the end of this show, and we'll do the drawing for everything here in just a little bit. Danielle's got the number generator. I've got the list. So if you don't win, Danielle's fault.
Of course.
Oh no.
Well, here, I gotta wonder. Do you think, because you're all ladies out there in the woods doing this, do you think that puts you at an advantage? Do you have an advantage or disadvantage when it comes to these things?
I think it gives us an advantage, really, because we're not scary at all. And well, Lauren Coleman, it was his idea to send women into the woods without men, dogs, or guns, and that's what we do. Very rarely do we take a guy with us. If we're somewhere else at a conference and we don't know the area, sometimes we'll go out with a Bigfooter from the area that'll take us to their spot. But most of the time, it's just us girls, and we use our remote viewing. Geographic remote viewing to select the locations that we're going to go to. So that kind of increases our odds of success there to get as close as we can and park and jump out and run over there. So, and that's been working pretty well for us. We got that good thermal image through a remote view. We remote viewed a mountain in Tennessee, and I saw some Bigfoots there and on the remote view. So we drove there and parked, and I remote viewed again to see if there was anything nearby right now. And I saw one 30 feet from the car, and it was so dark out. And I'm like, 30 feet that way, Tammy. And she pulled out the FLIR thermal camera, and there it was.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah. So that's been working well for us.
I may message you when we get ready to go to Florida and see if I can get you to have a look for us.
I've been doing that. I just did that for the Ohio Night Stalkers. I did that for an expedition they were doing before, and I told them where they were, where the Bigfoot were located. And then they just had me look at that spot again because they're going to go back to that spot, and they hadn't since last year.
You should charge. I'd pay.
You think I should charge for that?
If it works, look, people will pay.
They're still there. Is not as many of them though. It's like a whole lot less, but they're still there. And I said where they were at, and he said that's where they were the last time, and because they were throwing rocks from over there. So I'm like, oh, cool. So
I think that's amazing.
Yeah. So a lot of Bigfooters don't want to tell you where they're going. They don't want to give you GPS coordinates. What's the chances that I'm going to get there from where I live in Minnesota? Right.
Well, I think the idea for that is you might tell somebody else, and nobody wants to get hoaxed. True. And there are just a lot of people out there that would actually go out there and mess with you. And it's a sad fact if they knew exactly where it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sharing coordinates with anybody. So
there you go.
Yeah. We change our phones. We take them off. What is it? What button is that? Do we take them off the GPS?
So it doesn't
no one
mark
can find
GPS
us. Yeah.
You know how your pictures can mark your GPS location when you take a picture?
Oh yeah. Okay. Sure can.
You didn't know that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's helped us a lot. We didn't do that at first, and we decided we were making all these preparations to keep it quiet, and here they were on the pictures. We were like, no. So we learned a quick lesson on that one.
That's true. Didn't think about that either, especially an iPhone. I'm not sure about Android because I don't,
It works on the map, doesn't it? It's Google Maps. It connects to your account. So wherever you've gone, because if you take a picture of that place, you can offer to put it on the map for that place. They've already got it, haven't they? The details. So
they know right where we all are.
Yeah,
we can be found by your phone. They did that intentionally. Yeah, Linda, I have iPhone. I can't stand Android. Linda can't stand iPhone. We're literally a house divided about a lot of things. I'm an Alabama fan. She's an LSU fan. So football season's not good around here. I just stay at work. All right, one more, and then Danielle will be able to take over. So tell us just a little bit of your more notable experiences in the woods, but the most recent. Talk to us, give us that.
Boy, what was the most recent? Well, we haven't been out really for a while because my favorite spot to go is on my reservation, and they closed the borders for COVID. Like literally, they stop you and ask you why you're here, and bigfooting is not a good enough reason. They turn you away. So we can't get onto the reservations up here for where we normally would look. So I'm hoping that's coming to an end soon. Because they were trying to keep COVID off the reservation, and it's there now. So, I mean, it's there. So I don't think we're gonna spread it. So, and now they are having a powwow here in a couple weeks. So I think they might be letting us in. So Jenna and I can head up there sometime soon, hopefully.
Oh my, yes.
Now, do you have to know somebody?
I am a tribal member.
Oh, you are? Okay.
You have to be a tribal member to be off trapsing around in the woods out there, or on the lake at all. That you have to be a tribal member to be on the lake. I can't take Jenna on the lake, but I can take her into the woods. What's really cool about bigfooting on the reservation there is the land is held in trust by all tribal members equally. Nobody owns it. So I don't have to stop and go, whose land is this? Can we get permission to go over there? Because I have permission already. I'm a tribal member. So I don't have to, as long as I'm not peeking in anybody's windows, which I wouldn't do, we're good to go. We can go wherever we want. And it's a huge reservation. And so that works really well when we're driving around and just sensing the energies around us. And we actually found a really cool set of footprints, like a whole trackway of footprints that way. We were driving down the road. Somebody else was driving, so I had my psychic awareness fully open, and I was just feeling for energies, and I yelled, "Stop the car! There's something back there!" in that woods back there. So we turned around and found a way to get in there. And behind the woods, there was a gravel pit, and clear as day, there was these footprints going up to the top of the hill. And they were huge footprints, and it was such a steep hill that Jenna and Nikki tried to climb up next to the footprints, and they kept sliding down. Every step they take, they'd slide down, and they were on their hands and feet. And these footprints were 18 inches long with 5 toes, and they were going straight up the hill without putting hands down at all. And I showed it to Bobo from Finding Bigfoot, and he said that is way too steep to be a human or a bear. There's no way that that's a human or a bear. That had to be a Squatch. And so that was really cool. So if we weren't on the reservation when that happened, if we weren't on the reservation when that happened, we wouldn't have been able to just stop and pull in there, because we would have had to see whose land is that, whose property is that, can we get permission? And that's one of the reasons why I really like going up there. Plus, they're just thick up there. It's a very unpopulated, very large area of natural land. Even the lake doesn't have really docks on it. You don't see, very rarely do you ever see a boat on there. If you do, it's a fishing boat way off in the distance. And never seen a jet ski out there or skiers. It's just natural. And when we go to the beach, even when we go to the beach, there's nobody there. It's wonderful.
For anyone who doesn't know you, how did you guys get together? Because you've got different animal communication skills, the remote viewing. You both have got your own gifts. How did you guys get together?
Well, I was friends with both Jenna and Tammy. They didn't know each other, but they were my friends. And I actually went to massage therapy school many, like 20 some years ago with Jenna's brother. And so that's kind of how I met Jenna. And then Tammy, I had met it's a weird many ways, different ways I met her. I met her as a kid in Virginia on a beach when I was 11 and she was 10. And she remembered me when we met again as adults. It was just weird. We met again in Minnesota as adults. Anyway, we all have those gifts. Some of us are stronger in some areas than others, but we all can do all of them in a basic way. Like Tammy's strength is really in seeing auras and energies as a colored light. And seeing that, she sees that very naturally without a whole lot of effort. I can see them. I just have to look harder. And it might take me a little bit longer to see it, where she'll see it right away. And all of us can do the animal communications. And it just depends on what it is and what we're connecting with, that who's going to connect easier than the rest.
Speaking of, can I just tell you what recently just happened to me and my cat? Okay, animal communication. Here's a great example. I always practice on my cat, and sometimes she's kind of a jerk. But anyway, one day she was sitting on my toilet seat, because every day after my shower, she's like sitting there going, brush me. So I have to brush her, every day. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I think, okay, perfect opportunity. So I told her to come up like this on my stomach. But then I didn't know what else to do. So I just told her to do that. And she did it, but then she went, and she like tapped me and just ran away. Like, why did you do that to me? Like, why did I have to do that? It was the weirdest thing to sit there and get such a fabulous result from communication. It's just so fabulous getting that confirmation, you guys. It's incredible. But sometimes they don't know what's going on. My cat literally got confused by I didn't give her enough direction. So she got mad, but it's incredible.
Can you use it when you're going out? I'm not saying particularly to Bigfoot, but can you communicate with other animals? Can you send out any messages or protection stuff, or do you use it for that?
A lot of times I'm sensing fear from animals. The first thing that I sense, like for instance, when my mom and I are out at the lake, there's the property line isn't mowed. And so the next lot over is just really tall prairie grasses. And if my mom's standing too close to that, I'll sometimes feel something being afraid. And I'm like, Mom, come over here, come away from there. And she's like, why? I'm like, there's an animal in there and you're scaring it. And she's like, well, what is it? I'm like, I don't know what it is. I just can feel that it's afraid. And so she'll come stand closer to me, and pretty soon something will come dashing out of there. It's usually a striped gopher, a new one that hasn't met her yet, that doesn't know she's probably their best friend who feeds them lots of peanuts. But my mom's been around me enough times to know that when I'm saying there's something in there and it's afraid, come here, that there is something there, and she'll soon see it. But sometimes I'll sense that even down by the waterway, and I'll back away, and then I realize I've blocked something's pathway to get back into the water. So I can sense something's fear before I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good, because you can send out like an energy of calm to surround it too. And that works really well.
I was going to mention too, when you are talking to animals, especially dogs, I found that they can sense you kind of looking in, and they get kind of like angry. They actually growl, like, what are you doing looking into my, this is the sense that, like, all you have to do is just look at them and feel them. And they really sometimes get angry. And it's especially the dogs that have been through traumatic experiences or have anxieties and things. It's just, yeah. Sorry, I interrupted, Jen. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like bees, for example. I mean, if I've actually shielded people from bees before, that people who are afraid of bees, people don't understand that they sense that, and they literally will attack you. They dive bomb you if you're afraid. And I literally will put my arms around somebody and like shield their fears, their energy of fear, so that the bees leave them alone. And as soon as I let go, the bees come right back. And it's kind of funny, because I was teaching a class outside one day, and there was a girl who was afraid of bees, and this bee was coming after her. And I kept saying, don't be afraid of the bee, but she was screaming, And so I'd put my arms around her, and the bee would just stop attacking and fly away. And then I'd let go of her, and the bee would come right back, and then I'd put my arms around her again, and it would go away. And as soon as I let go, it would come back, and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" That bee literally did not care anymore as soon as you touched her. And I said, "I'm just shielding the energy of her fear with my calm energy." And so right when it feels her fear, it's like, this is an enemy. This is somebody who's dangerous. I need to chase this person out. And as soon as I covered that up, it was like, there's no more danger here. So literally, animals can sense that fear in us, and it's a warning sign to them.
It's interesting.
Makes sense. Do you think is it energy, some type of intuition, or is this the vibe you're putting off? They pick up on that?
Scientists have been able to measure the energy of emotion and thought as a frequency. And we project that. Everybody projects that out at least 15 feet away from your body in every direction. So if you're within 30 feet of somebody, your energy fields are interacting. And people or animals are more sensitive to that, sensing that energy, so to speak. And it's more of a universal language that humans have kind of forgotten about for the most part. But all animals are really locked into that quite well. Predators use that to sense when something is sick. When something is sick and struggling, they're feeling fear. So that's like the dinner bell for a predator, if that makes sense. So wolves, for instance, are really healthy for the deer population because they're going to weed out the sickly deer before the disease can spread very quickly. Sure. And like in Minnesota, when they were hunting the wolves to the point where they went back on the endangered species list, all of a sudden our deer population got sick, and they got TB in northern Minnesota, and the DNR had to go out and kill most of the deer because the TB was running rampant through the deer population. If we had a healthy wolf population, that never would have happened because the wolves would have taken it out before it could have spread that bad.
I was talking to, go ahead, Daniela.
I was just going to say, for years I've done it. If I've got a bee or a wasp in the house, I just open the door or the window, go, come on, this is the way. I do it every time. Or if I open a window and there's one there, I go, no, it's okay. You don't need to come in. And it works every time. The energy you're giving off.
I got to tell Linda that, because if a bee or a wasp or anything comes in the house, spider, doesn't matter, that sucker's dead. It's over. He's not going to make it. It's either, if it's a spider, I have to kill it. She won't, even if it's a tiny baby spider. She just can't stand it.
Put it outside. I love them. They're sacred animals, but they belong outside.
I don't kill anything. I don't kill a thing. I'll let it all go. Now, what I assert this on the show now and then about intuition, and that you can look at someone long enough and they'll turn and look right back at you, and I just wondered if that's not part of that, what you're talking about, especially if they're close enough, that energy thing that's going on there, what you're putting out.
Let me explain that to you a little bit more scientifically. So the scientists have discovered that the human brain thinks at 400 billion bytes per second. That's not a potential. That's what we're actually already doing. So 400 billion bytes per second. But the average human is only consciously aware of 2,000 bytes per second out of 400 billion every second. So all the other stuff that we're sensing and that we're thinking about in our subconscious mind that we're totally unaware of are what other people are feeling, what other people are thinking. And some people who, are more connected to that sense will pick up on that a little bit sooner. But that's, I think, why other people are going to be apt to turn and look at you if you're staring at them, because they're sensing that in their subconscious awareness, and it ekes through into their conscious, like, look that way, something's going on over here. Right. So that's what that is. And what I always tell people is perception is 9/10 of your reality. And what are the chances that everybody is perceiving the same 2,000 bytes of information every single second out of the 400 billion that are possible? The chances of everybody sensing the same things is absolutely impossible. So we're literally aware of different things in our realities every single second. And so I started doing experiments years ago, asking people, what is it that you see right there? What is it you see right there? And I have them describe to me what it is they're seeing, because it might not be the same as what I am.
Well, along that vein, there's a lot of discussion about people misidentifying Sasquatch. Like they'll see a bear Okay, this is someone that doesn't have Sasquatch on their radar at all. See a bear, and their brain is telling them that it's not a bear, it's a Sasquatch. Now, to me, it seems like it would be the other way around. You know, if you weren't aware of Sasquatch, you know bears exist, and you saw a Sasquatch, would your brain be telling you it's a bear? What do you think about that and the notions that people could be misidentifying what they're seeing?
Well, for the most part, children are the ones that have the more open awareness of seeing what's really out there, because they're in a constant state of taking in new information and discovering the world around them. But as people get older, their conscious awareness of what they see and what they notice of what they're seeing, what they're consciously aware of what they're seeing, becomes very narrow. Like a lot of adults stop seeing fireflies because they just stop looking for them, even though they're there. And that's one thing I've discovered in a lot of adults, that they're just not seeing the fireflies that are there until you prompt them to look for them. That, oh, I saw some fireflies over there, and then they'll look for them. But they're not seeing them on their own. Just people are so quick in their looking, and they don't look at anything really deeply, and they don't really consider what's there. It's really interesting. I think a lot of people walk right past Bigfoot that may just lay on the ground, and they don't even notice it there. I think that happens more often than you would think, that they just have to be still and not be noticed. They can blend into their environment. But I think that people are more apt to try to think, like when you see something, you try to think, what is that? And if it looks like it could be something big like a bear, you're like, is it a bear? You know, and if their sighting is very quick, they might just think it is a bear because they don't see it very long. I think that happens.
I just don't see the likelihood of it being the other way around, of someone that doesn't have any awareness of Sasquatch. It's not on their brain. They're in the woods. They see a bear, and it's even if it's standing up, but it's not, it's actually a bear, but their perception is that it's a Sasquatch. To me, that just seems backward. If you don't have Sasquatch on the brain, it just seems like it would be the other way around. You'd see a Sasquatch and your brain's telling you it's a bear. There are, I have heard that there are these defense mechanisms, things that keep us, protected, or protecting our own psyche, I suppose, that you just don't see certain things. If it's a monster in the woods, would you see it? Someone said that to me. The Sasquatch I saw, I thought was a guy. If I would have not thought that, would I have seen it? That's kind of what they were pointing at. I don't know. I think I would have. It was pretty close. Oh, sorry. But it's just interesting to think about, because are our brains protecting us to a degree? Is that why Sasquatch isn't seen that much? I don't know. Just a question.
Well, we found some structures too in the forest that really you could tell that they were trying to hide it. They'd take little trees and they pull them out and they'd stab them in the ground in clumps. And so you'd walk further away from the structure and you wouldn't even be able to see it anymore. So they were definitely trying to hide it. And then at one point, Jenna, I turned my back and I was looking at something, and all of a sudden I turned back around and Jenna's just gone. And I freaked out. I'm like, Jenna, where are you? I can't see you anymore. And she had just stepped behind it, and she was completely hidden from me. And she wasn't wearing anything that would meld into the environment like a Sasquatch would. She wasn't prone to be blending in, but she was hidden very well behind it. So I think that they can build those structures to help themselves hide behind it, and people could walk right past them.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think they're hard enough to see anyway. They're just so good at hiding. And then every adaptation I think they have is all about that. Survival is not being discovered, essentially. Just a thought.
I think it's actually very intelligent of them to stay away from human beings.
Of course.
We're dangerous.
Well, I think they know they scare us. And what happens when we're scared? We
Yes.
tend to do crazy things like shoot.
Attack.
That's right.
No, I like that theory. I really do, what you were just talking about how the brain may subconsciously, protect us from what we see. I think that's a really, really good theory. What do you think about that, Jen? I mean,
I
like
do-
the actual protection.
I do think that sometimes people will put in their mind what they're seeing is just like a bear, or because they don't know what it is. And I think sometimes people could even just say it was a bear, even though they don't really think that maybe it was something else,
Right.
because they're too scared to tell people that they saw something like a Sasquatch. They might have been a Sasquatch.
Just want to say thanks to Brandon Harrell. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. It was someone else. Head.
Got to say hello to Dixie. Dixie Dobbins is watching.
Oh, hey, Dixie. She's 9 years old.
Hey,
Oh,
Dixie.
Biggest fans. That's Jason's
Aw.
9-year-old daughter. She watches every show. That's why we ask everyone to keep it clean for us in the chat. We do appreciate you guys doing that. And all you proponents of free speech and fair discourse, you absolutely have the right to free speech. Every single one of you. It is a right in this country. What you're not free from are the consequences of what you have to say. So just want to say that. Freedom of speech. Watch what you say.
I love that. Thank you so much. I might steal that from you if I remember it.
That's all yours.
Thank you.
Well, it's just true. And then, I mean, we can't say what we want to on here. We
No.
could, but it would probably cost us our audience.
But you're right.
You know.
It is. People don't understand that there are consequences
Sure.
because they don't
Yep.
have very many now.
Well, you know, as far as the court goes, you're free to say what you want, unless it's a call to action. But this is the court of public opinion. And, you know, that's who we, not to get into all that, just saying. We've had several of those emails. Why can't I say what I want? And, you know, you can. Just expect some kind of consequences for it. That's all. What do you think, Daniela? We're halfway through. You want to do a drawing?
Yeah, let's do a drawing.
All right, let's count.
Struggling. Let me just, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think people are struggling to comment. I'm not sure it's totally what I set it for. So let me just quickly check it so that it's like no one can comment for like a couple of minutes. So that's not good.
Oh, that was 30 seconds.
Yeah, it should be. But I'll just fix that now.
This is the drone. This will be the last thing we give away. It's just a Mavic Enterprise 2, but it's got this thermal camera attached to it. Without the thermal on it, it's an excellent drone without that, but it has that thermal camera and it's very clear. It's a Bosun 320. I had Drone Nerds build this last year. We are getting a new drone. It's actually going to be a fleet of drones. This is the other bag that goes with it. This is the thermal screen and everything. And whoever wins this, I'll give you a full tutorial.
Golly, somebody is going to be so lucky getting that. Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. This brand new. These are Mosa Aircross 2 gimbals. If you have a mirrorless DSLR camera, it just everything is smooth with extra battery. This together, $500. 2 of those were given away, and the boxes have been opened because I opened them, but they've never been used. Everything is brand new. The 40,000 milliamp hour battery banks. These are about $80, but they're cool. Gives you the readout of this one's dead. I'll charge it. You can charge your laptop about 10 times with that. They'll run your phone for days. 30,000 milliamp hour battery bank, giving away that. Everyone will get, all the winners will get a 168 hour A Bigfoot Odyssey wristband. What else have I got? Oh yeah. Someone's going to win 168 hour cap and 168 hour t-shirt.
Cool.
What else? Oh, we're going to give away 2 2 Bigfoot Odyssey t-shirts. What did I do? Where is it? This is good content here. All this dead air.
Did you show the iPad? Was there an iPad?
This is it. That's what I was looking for. Brand new 128 gig iPad mini, and this is a OtterBox cover on the outside of it. I just downloaded one app on it. I used it for a thermal attachment camera, but it'll all be reset. Whoever wins that.
Nice.
Yeah, about $400 something for that. But it's the big 128 gig. So it's a 4th generation iPad mini. So I think that's it. Yeah. But again, all the winners will get, except for the Bigfoot Odyssey t-shirts, because I'm going to send those straight from Teespring. So whoever wins the Bigfoot Odyssey t-shirts won't get one of these.
Susan wants to win the puppy crying in the background.
My dogs, they do love each other. They really do. But they kind of fight sometimes. They're both boys, and they're only about 8 months old.
Oh.
So yeah, well, they're full grown. They're just they're little butt heads is what they are. So I had to take and separate them, and he's crying for his brother. So yeah, Bucky and Jester. They're
That's
bad
so
dogs.
sweet. They're bad dogs. What a good father. They're bad dogs.
Yeah, they just got a bath today and everything. So
oh,
very, very excited about that stuff. All right, so we had 495 entries, the most we've had so far. I think what we got out of that, probably a little bit more than if I'd sold this stuff. So we appreciate everybody that entered for that. We are using that. I just actually bought a brand new camera from Michael Waldy, a Canon XF 400. It's about a $4,000 camera, and I got it for $2,000. So we did use that for that, but we're going to be getting the fleet of drones. It's 3 drones. They're search and rescue drones. One of them is thermal, one's night vision, one's 4K, and you can fly them all at the same time with one. So that's what we're going to be getting for the trip to Florida in November. So all right, so we'll give away a couple of Bigfoot Odyssey t-shirts first. Daniela's doing the thing. I got the list.
Okay, ready?
Here. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, let me do it. Hang on. Near it of this trouble. Here we go. 51.
Oh, 51. 51 is Henry DeClerc.
ooh!
See the list.
Congratulations, Henry! You're a lucky guy.
Henry, email us bigfootodyssey@gmail.com. You want a Bigfoot Odyssey t-shirt? Now, we said you can't win twice on the same number. That's just for the big stuff. You know, we'll keep your number in. If you win a t-shirt, we'll keep your number in, obviously, for one of the big 4 prizes. All right, that's a Bigfoot Odyssey t-shirt. Next.
245.
245. 245, Chris Reinhardt.
Congratulations, Chris.
Chris Reinhardt, you got a Bigfoot Odyssey t-shirt. Congratulations.
I'll just write some of these. Are you writing them down, or?
Yeah, I'll probably have to just go back and watch.
Right,
I'll do it at the bottom down here.
All right.
One was Henry. T-shirt. I'm so sorry, y'all. And then Chris R.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we're giving away the Bigfoot, the 168 hours cap and shirt.
25.
25. Oh, you guys got in early. 25 is Carla Salomon.
Yay, Carla.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'm bad at butchering names. Really, if it's like a Russian name, I'll just say Richard Russian name. So.
That's a great way to do it. I love it.
That's how bad I am at it. All right. So, Carla, you get the 168-hour cap and shirt.
Okay.
Yep. Next.
383.
What is next?
383.
Oh, battery banks next. 383. Matthew Brecker.
Yay, Matthew.
30,000 milliamp hour battery bank. Congratulations, Matthew.
Lucky.
I know, right? And the 40,000's next.
I have to go back to the beginning every time to this silly thing. 471.
471. Somebody at the end. Alan Peralt. got the 40,000 milliamp hour.
Congratulations, Alan.
Congrats.
Oh, cool.
That's so awesome.
Matthew Brecker, Alan. I'm just gonna put Alan P. So I'll know. All right, iPad Mini.
313.
313. Cornell hand ready.
Oh, wow. It's
Yeah.
in tonight, I think.
1 entry.
Congratulations. And it's Cornell?
Cornell. Yeah.
Wow.
Love the name.
You lucky
Yeah.
dog. Cornell.
Oh, yes.
That's no such thing.
No
Cornell.
such thing. Podcast,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me write that down. iPad Mini Cornell.
Wow.
All right. We got 3 left. Gimbal. First gimbal.
You ready?
Yep.
357.
357. Matthew Brecker.
Okay, wow.
Yep.
What a lucky
Yeah.
duck.
Matthew had a few entries in there.
Congratulations,
So,
Matthew.
Congratulations, Matthew Brecker. You can do whatever you want to with that. If you guys don't have a camera, you can just put it on eBay. All right. Next.
117.
117. James Hardlicka. That's Jimbo.
Oh,
Oh.
Yep. Congratulations, Jimbo. You got the other gimbal.
Yay,
Yeah.
Jimbo.
All right. This is it. Big prize.
the big one. Good luck,
The big
everyone.
one.
65.
65.
That's one of the early
James Bowen.
Congratulations, James.
1 entry. James
Wow.
Bowen.
So it's true. It only takes 1. I never believed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Matthews wants to donate something back to us.
Oh.
Oh, Matt, don't do that. Just email me, Matt. We'll talk about it. But we definitely appreciate that very much. James Bowen won the drone.
Wow. Let's hope
Congratulations,
it's close
James.
to you.
I hope you live in the United States. That's all I can say.
That shipping might be expensive.
That's what I'm saying. Matthew won 2 prizes. Who won the other gimbal? It was Jimbo. And then who just won?
Cornell.
No, who just won the drone? James
Was it Matthew?
James.
No, James.
Bowen. Thank you all for participating. Congratulations to all the winners. We appreciate you very much. Everyone's going to get a 168 hours wristband. So we do appreciate everyone that participated in that. And
Just, if they can as well, contact you as well. We'll contact you, but get in touch.
yeah, we'll need your addresses. We'll definitely need your addresses. So
Yeah.
congratulations, everybody. All right. Well, I'm going to announce the list of people that are going with us for the 168 at the end of this show.
Okay.
So let's keep going. All right.
Yeah.
We got that out of the way.
Yeah. So you haven't been out so much though. So you've still been doing your podcast though. Who's been your interesting guests that you've had on?
Oh boy, we had Dr. Igor Gebretsev from Russia last week.
Oh, cool.
Tonight we're having a guy on from Canada. So we're getting all over the world here on our Bigfooting. We've had Jason Kenzie. He's a documentary. He makes documentaries and films for YouTube. And he's also from Canada. We had him on not that long ago. Who else have we had on recently, Jenna? That's going to put her on the spot.
Anyone with particular gifts like you guys have got? Anyone doing anything slightly different?
Actually, well, a lot of times, no. I mean, we meet people that feel like they have extra senses, like Ken Collins. He has some of those senses too, but I don't think anybody is necessarily remote viewing locations, like we do. with like doing GPS coordinates and seeing what's there. We're doing an event in October, the Yakima Valley Bigfoot Conference in Toppenish, Washington in October. And actually, when we were at the Sasquatch Summit in Washington 2 years ago, we met a gentleman there. I didn't know who he was. He just asked me to do some remote viewing for him, so I did. And apparently I identified some very specific spots where he had seen Bigfoot, and I was like, I'm seeing Bigfoot leaning on this tree, and he's like, that's where I saw Bigfoot leaning on a tree. And it was in a forest. There was no identifying marks. It just looks like a forest, nothing there. I said I was seeing these native people with Bigfoot there. And what I was seeing led me to believe that they were friendly, that they were trading goods, that they had no fear of each other. And they were standing so close together that they were touching. And I'm like, they were together here a lot. They were friends. They looked like they were friends, and they were at least trading goods together, but they were here together a lot. And then he later told me that that was the exact spot where their village of native people had a settlement in the 1850s, and they actually lived with Bigfoot in their camp.
Wow.
And I identified that location. So now they're all excited to like focus on our remote viewing at this event. So that's going to be what the whole focus is on, remote viewing Bigfoot. So we're going to be doing that for the audience and focusing on that for that conference in October. So it'll be interesting because I don't think anybody's done that for a conference before.
No.
And I do believe Bob Gimlin's going to be there because he lives there. So that's always fun to see him.
Yeah. So can you explain remote viewing? I mean, for anyone who doesn't know what it is, or kind of, I know it's probably not the easiest question or the shortest answer, but how does it work? How do you do it?
Well, controlled remote viewing was actually developed through experiments through the government, actually, and they were doing a lot of experiments with the Monroe Institute in Virginia. And I actually know one of the psychics that was involved in those first remote viewing experiments that they were doing over there. And when I started doing it, I've always done it with maps or satellite imagery, which I call geographic remote viewing because it's different than controlled remote viewing. Controlled remote viewing is you have a moderator, somebody who knows what the topic is that you're looking at, but they're just asking you to describe this or describe that. What color is it? And they might have like a Polaroid picture of something in an envelope located somewhere, and they're asking you to look at what is the picture of. And so it's not necessarily in a specific location. They're asking you to identify what the picture is. And so that's a lot different, and I wouldn't find a lot of use for that for what I'm using remote viewing for. I do a lot of satellite imagery where I'm looking up something on my phone or on an iPad or a tablet, and I'm looking at a specific location, and I start asking questions. And the questions that I ask for this is there Bigfoot here? Is there Bigfoot evidence here that we could collect? And what I see on the image changes if there's something there. So like if there is a Bigfoot there, I'll start seeing a Bigfoot there. And there was one example I can tell you about where I was seeing this giant Bigfoot face of a male that was he looked very aggressive. I felt scared of him. And it was like I was seeing his whole territory. And then about 200 feet away from the edge of that territory, I was seeing this whole area that was lighting up in reaction to me asking if there was evidence of Bigfoot that we could collect there. And this whole big area was lighting up. And so I marked both of those spots on the GPS coordinates, and we went there. And there was a trail that I wasn't sure if it was a drivable trail or not, but we could see that there was a trail that went right between them. And so we drove out there, and it was barely a drivable trail. My car has all the marks on it and the rust from all the scrapes that it got trying to get out there. And we parked right between them, and had rocks thrown at me from one side, and I didn't even go in there very far. And then we went to the side where there was Bigfoot evidence that we could collect, and that's where we found that huge stick structure that was more of a den-like structure.
Right.
And that's where it was. And it was a huge area. And that was where it was. And that was the first time that I took Jenna out to find something in person that I had seen on a remote view. She wasn't a believer in that at the time. You could tell because she was meandering about and trying to give Nikki her Netflix so she could watch on something on her phone
Now,
because she was going to stay in the car.
I have to
I'm
jump
just
in
saying,
here.
'cause I was seeing stuff moving back there and I'm like, let's go.
She was, and she was being kind of cranky with me, but we finally did get going. And my gosh, I tell you what, I didn't really believe in remote viewing, but I really believed in Jen. So I was like, okay, whatever. Until we actually parked, and within 50 feet, there's a tower and a structure. I mean, then I became really interested in remote viewing. So she's been teaching Tammy and I how to do it. And it's an amazing, amazing ability.
What's really fun is if I'm remote viewing something of a place that we're going to potentially be going to, and if I see something, I'll drop a GPS pin near it and I'll send the GPS coordinates to the girls and I'll say, hey, have a look at this. And I won't tell them what I see there. Just have a look at this and tell me if you see anything. Well, there was one time that I was looking at a spot and I was seeing a Bigfoot next to a mountain lion. And I sent the coordinates and Tammy looked at it and she said, I'm seeing a Bigfoot with a mountain lion. I was like, that's what I saw. Good job. So I love it when we can see the same things at a location, and, things like that will keep us safe too.
Definitely.
We didn't venture far into that spot. So
it's amazing. I think it's absolutely incredible that you're able to do that. I mean, I've heard that there are a lot of people that are able to do that. I mean, it's not a rare thing that someone can do this, but that you do it and you use it for this is just, I mean, what an awesome tool.
I had wondered if I was seeing places better in my home country where I would have ancestors, or my native ancestors would be from that area, if I was able to see things easier that way because of that. So I was kind of wishing if I could remote view some locations where I didn't think I had any connections to. And within a week of wishing that, somebody contacted me from North Carolina and asked if I would remote view a location for them. And I said, sure. So he gave me the GPS coordinates of this particular forest. And I started looking at it. And I was dropping pins, and I said, okay, I'm seeing Bigfoot crossing the road here often because they're going over to the water, but they actually live over there on the other side of the road, but they cross right here all the time. And then I said, I'm seeing a Bigfoot over here on this shoreline, and he's like jumping up and down. So apparently you could probably see this one if you like put your eyes on it for long enough. You're going to see him because he's not being stealthy at all. But there's a bunch of them behind him that are being stealthy, but this one isn't. And then I had seen also like they were coming into this field next to it, and I had the feeling that they wanted to leave that place. They wanted to leave that place now. And I told him that, and he said, I was wondering about that because they're starting to build right there.
Wow.
And he says, I was wondering if they were going to move out of there. And he says, you're right, they do cross the road here. And he sent me video of on the ground there. As soon as I sent it to him and I was done sending him all the information of the GPS and what I was seeing there, he started sending me videos from the ground of things that he had already videoed. And he goes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So that was really awesome. But at first when I looked at it, I was a little thrown off because they had different kinds of trees there. They looked different from the air. It threw me off a little bit because everything looks so different than what I was used to looking at. So a lot of times I do this in the middle of the night when my phones aren't going off and I'm not getting interrupted. I have to kind of be in a state of consciousness where I'm not being interrupted. And so I'll a lot of times do it in the middle of the night when I'm not getting any messages from people.
Yeah.
So
clear your mind.
Well, you want to take a few questions while we got a few minutes? Let me make this announcement right quick. I just got an email from Matthew Brecker, and he is donating the gimbal to Barb Glessner, Boots on the Ground with Barb. I can't think of anyone that needs it or could use it more than Barb. She's out there by herself researching up in I think it's Michigan, Minnesota, one of those places.
Okay.
one of those northern states. So thank you for that.
Wow, that
Matthew.
was really nice, Matthew. That was really nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Bab's in tonight, so that's great.
Yeah, she's here. I'll send her a message.
Very generous. There was a question. There was a couple of questions. This is an interesting one from Tom. Sorry, I can't. Gleiner? Sorry, Tom. Just completely.
Well, I see he's asking if I've tried to find missing people.
Have you used?
I have found some missing people. Actually, I found the first missing person that I found. I did it by accident. I didn't know that she was missing. I just started dreaming about this. I kept dreaming that I was flying like an eagle through the air over this river, and I could see where I was. And then I swooped down into the river, and I was trying to dive down deep enough. And I would always wake up, and I would be like, that is the stupidest thing, because I kept driving down to get deep enough to drive with that thing back up that sunk. And I would wake up and I go, that's so dumb. You can't drive something up that after it sinks. And I kept having that dream, and I knew exactly where it was in the river, exactly. And because I saw my aunt's house, and then I was counting the bends in the river towards town, and I knew exactly where it was. And so I called my cousin and I said, hey, did something sink in the river? And I told her exactly where it was. And she's like, I don't think so. And I have a cousin who's gifted. And I said, can you ask your sister if she's dreaming about it? And she said she's not dreaming about it. I asked her, and after she asked her. And so I said, well, there's something down there. Is the ice still good? I was going to go out there at the time I was married. I said I'd come out with my husband's ice auger and a camera and throw it down there for ice fishing and see what's down there, because I think there's something down there. I was so excited, like it might be a treasure, and and she said the ice was breaking up, so I couldn't do that. It wouldn't be safe. So I just kind of forgot about it for a while. And then my cousin called and said, she's crying. They found her right where you said she'd be. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, they found Gina Anderson right where you said she'd be, in the river. And I said, what are you talking about? And this woman had been missing for 1.5 years, and she had just vanished without any trace. And here she had epilepsy, and she apparently had an epileptic seizure while she was driving and drove into the river. And they found her at the bottom of the river right there in that spot in her car.
Wow.
And so they found her. So right in that spot that I kept saying, there's something down there. I'm trying to drive it back up in my dreams, but I didn't know what it was. So that was the first missing person that I hoped to find. The second one, I was doing a radio interview live on a radio. And the host asked if I had heard of this boy that was missing, which I hadn't heard of, because it was nowhere near where I lived. And so he said that some of the people on the search team were listening, and they asked if I could see if I could tune into that. So I tried it on the spot, and I just said, well, can I have a picture of him? Can I have his name? What, how old is he? Just something to try to connect with that. And all of a sudden I was feeling like cold water, like a river cold water, but I was feeling edges to it, and I could see how he was tied up and wrapped up with a blanket and then duct tape like a mummy. And I said, he's in the cold water like the river, but it's man-made with edges the width of a bathtub, but it's still river water. And they knew exactly what that was, and they found him right away. They went and searched the storm drains that connect to the river, and they found him right away. And he was tied up and wrapped up just like I said he was, but they found him right away. And
that's
so,
a shame. But that will have brought a lot of comfort to the family.
Yeah, these are not fun. They are really draining on my energy to connect, because the way that I know that there's other people that use their guides to find that information. For me, I go into a state of oneness with somebody, and so for me, I'm feeling like the person's death. Yeah. And it's very draining on my energy, and it's really unpleasant. I don't like to do it. A lot of times people have asked me to help find kids that had gone missing in the ocean. And I'm like, even if they're still alive, all I'm going to see is ocean. There's no way to identify where. There's no way to do that. And, there was one woman that went missing from my reservation, and the family asked the gentleman who had me do the other one. I knew she was dead before they were ready to know that. And who killed her and how. And even when they still had a whole bunch of hope, I kept saying, I'm sorry, no, she's gone. She died in his basement, you know, and they eventually got the truth that the guy killed her and not threw her down the stairs, and she died in his basement. So, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, I've done it. It's not something I enjoy doing at all.
No. Yeah, it's not always a choice, is it, when you've got a gift?
You know, but I have to say, I've actually had experiences myself, and and this is the first time I actually tried it, because I had talked to Jen. She had told me how she did it, and I just thought, okay, there's a missing woman, and she was pregnant, and I happened to.
Savannah? Are you talking about Savannah? Yeah,
I think so. And anyway, I ended up telling a lot of information to someone who I didn't even know knew and worked for the police. And it ended up a lot of the things that I had said, I had mentioned a house, I had mentioned what happened to her, I had mentioned all these different things, where it took place. And I just remember, but unlike Jen, I didn't go into the oneness. It was like I was watching, you know? So, I mean, it's different for everybody. But I agree with Jen. It's just scary. It's not a fun feeling, but you want to help.
One of my clients asked me about her. They asked me about Savannah, and I don't watch the news or anything. So I hadn't heard that there was a girl missing, but they thought maybe I knew her because she was native from our community. And so they said, did you know that girl who went missing, Savannah? And as soon as they asked me that question, I saw somebody cut open her belly. And I mean, I didn't even know who they were talking about. As soon as they asked me that question, and that's what I saw. Somebody cut open her belly, and I was like, oh, you know, that's what happened to her. Somebody cut her belly open and took her baby.
Wow.
It's terrible.
That's terrible. Yeah.
But if you can help, and Jen knows who to talk to now, I'm sure. I don't, but it's a really good feeling to know that you can help. And I wish more people would use their abilities to help. And if you don't know how, try it like I did, you know, sit back, meditate, and really concentrate on the love and to help this person and find them and find out what happened to them. And you'll get an answer if it's meant to be for you to help.
There's a great channel actually called Adventures with Purpose. And there was just a set of guys that used to just go diving in rivers to see what they could find, and lakes and stuff, and iPhones and whatever. And they ended up finding cars and then finding dead bodies. And it's become like a mission to them now that they're going out. They've got the equipment to do it, and they're going out to these places, and they're trying to. They don't want to do it, but they feel that it's now their obligation to do this and to help with the play and look at these places, because the police don't have the manpower all the time or the equipment or enough technology like they've got to really search these places. And it's just the journey that they do with it and how they bring the family in and that closure for people to find them, whether they're dead or alive. But it's important to know where your son or your brother or your sister or whoever just to disappear. So yeah, it's quite a sensitive thing, isn't it? Emotional thing, but you know, it's a good thing. That's right. Adventures with Purpose. They are amazing, guys.
Yeah, you really are. We're glad you guys are out there doing it. Amazing tools you have to do it with. And again, Jen, I'm gonna holler at you when we get ready to go down there. I said I would charge. Just saying.
How much should I charge you?
No, not me. Kidding.
That's funny. Well, you've got to set a price, price where you feel comfortable.
I would make it contingent upon success. So
there you go.
They find them. Look, it's $5. If you want me to locate them, it's $500. 10% down. Boom. You find them. We'll hold you to your word. Just saying. No, it's an amazing thing. And I was kidding about selling it. Obviously, the Bigfoot subject itself needs all the help it can get, and to have ladies like you out there, Sisters of the Moon is another group of ladies that really take this seriously, and we just need more like you out there doing it. Simple as that. Well, we're going to go ahead and make the announcement, everyone that made it. And I just want to say this, of everyone that I talked to, everyone that I interviewed, what I was looking for more than anything was not so much a proclivity or a proficiency for the woods, or people that were really just diehard wanting to find Bigfoot evidence. I chose the ones that were more enthusiastic about making a film, because that's what we're going to do, is make a film. So this is the crew here, and I don't want anybody. I hate not picking everybody, but we just couldn't. And for those of you that that were on the list and didn't get chosen, 6 months away. A lot of things happen. You're still there. Someone drops out. I'll bring you right in. Absolutely. So here we go. Myself and Brad Hatch are going to be directing, obviously. Mark Zassy is going to be directing the research. Jimmy Barr, David Dominique, Christopher Noel, and Chris Reinhardt will be the team leaders, 4 teams. Assisting myself and Brad, Frankie Brown, Karen Anakis. And field and support is Josh Parsons, Linwood Workman, Tammy Workman, Patrick Noble, Barry Browning, Lynn Parsons, Zach Rada, Bobby White, Mike Taylor, Joe Garland, Bud Honlin, Angie Honlin, I think I'm saying that right, Troy Jacobson, Rob Ridenhour, Tim Turner, it's Tim T, he's probably in here, and Mike Velez. Leading the tech will be Charlie Morgan, Barb Sandy, Doug Sandy, Christine Duez, Lisa Enlow, Brandon Squirrel, Stevie Perez, Steve May. Cooking will be Nidra and Larry Smith. Heading up the medical will be Jason Dobbins. Camera guys, and these were the hardest ones to pick: Todd Cummings, Johnny Two Bears, Kyle Matern, and Daniel Dunkel. And I appreciate everyone that wanted to go. Like I said, I chose the ones that were the most enthusiastic about making a film, because that's really what we're going to do. We're going to show the process, how hard it is to do this, and that these are real, actual people with integrity and not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. So I'm home for the next week. As you can see, my house. I'll be working on the 168 all week. I think I can get a couple episodes done. So we'll see. I'll be working on that all week. So again, thanks everyone that put in for the drawing. Congratulations to all the winners. Again, were, scroll down here, Henry DeClerc, Chris Reinhardt, Carla Salomon, Alan Peralt, Cornell Hanratty, Jimbo, James Hardlicka, Barb Glessner. Thank you, Matt, for that. James Bowen. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you, SheSquatchers. If you haven't gone and subscribed to SheSquatchers on YouTube, you can go do that right now.
The link's in the description.
Link is in the description.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. Jenna.
Tomorrow.
Ahead,
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow?
We know what's happening tomorrow. Drawing Bigfoot on hidden existence.
Hidden existence.
Yeah.
Larry Batson's going to be drawing the Bigfoot that I saw 80 feet away. Just get a picture of Scottie Pippen.
That's funny. Story.
It is. A lot of people laugh at that. But tomorrow is my birthday, too.
Yeah. So
Happy early birthday.
Celebration as well. That's 7:30 Central tomorrow night on Hidden Existence. So that'll be good.
7:30?
7:30. Yeah. Late. All right.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Have a good night. Congratulations to the winners.
Yeah. Congrats.
Email me.